caves underground and semi trucks full of cargo going down into these tunnels deep inside mountains, some up to around 7 miles underground. And it's reported that it's food. They're storing all kinds of food underground. Now, it is true that FEMA has a distribution center in Missouri. We'll look at in Missouri right now. But I heard about Kraft Foods the other day. And I found this article. This trucker will take you on a video tour of Kraft Food. Good morning. I woke up at 3 o'clock. I'm thinking that's about right. And I just laid here. But then I thought, oh, well, I guess I'll get up. So this trucker has his cash dam going. I just now looking at this, so I'm not going to look at it. The video was captured within it's a 3.2 million square foot Springfield underground facility in Springfield, Missouri. Susan B. Honey, good morning. The facility is a former limestone cave. Is it limestone cave? I can't really see it. Limestone mine that maintains a consistent ambient temperature of 62 degrees, and about 600 trucks per day use the facility, according to the Springfield News Ledger. 600 trucks a day. Well, I can't really show the video. It's somebody else's YouTube channel, but why are they storing up the food? Really ask yourself. So that is underground, and then look at all of these things right here. There's Kraft Foods. Right here, what's this? Kraft Foods. Visit their warehouse. I don't know what it's going to look like. Underground caves. This is better because I don't like to use other people's work on my channel. It's sustainable, and it's a smart warehouse site. It's maintained an underground warehouse in Springfield, Missouri since the 1960s. It's reaffirmed its commitment to the site with major expansion 2 years ago and continues to reap the benefits. Hola, you all. It's early in the morning, but we can say hola. Look at that. Underground. Can you imagine? Where do they get all this money, really? And it's like a Shannon, honey, I woke up at probably around 3 o'clock. I just laid here, and then I looked at my cell phone and said, oh, wow, it's 3:30. I guess I woke up at 3 o'clock. And I thought, that's about right. I was wide awake and thinking, well, I might as well do something since I'm wide awake. And I did. Thought I'll just get on here after laying here thinking, do I want to go to sleep? No, I really don't. I'm not feeling it. So it's a warehouse 100 feet below the Earth's surface at Springfield Underground facility in Missouri. And they got lots of dried products like the pasta and stuff. The development, let's see this. The development site offers an insight into successful, innovative strategy taken by businesses, intelligence on locations that are deploying winning policies to attract investment. They want investment in global business. 2 years ago, Kraft Food nearly doubled the size of a refrigerated warehouse in Springfield, Missouri, and visitors to the site will likely have a tough time finding it. The 400,000 square foot facility is located 100 feet below street level in underground limestone mine called Springfield Underground. How'd they get there, really? Who created those mines? Did reptilians really do it? Think about it. Are they just what they say they are? Or are they just a simple mind? No. Ever since the 60s. So, look, now everyone from a wiki to Julian to data centers are looking beneath the earth for storage. It reduces the energy costs, and that led the list of benefits for craft. It's the largest addition undertaken. The addition now is built out to 2.2 million square feet. I don't even know how big that would be. And they have above ground storage centers. It's close to major highways. You got to have specialized contractors. The ceiling is like 25 to 45 feet, so you can have cranes, booms, and man lifts. Natural rock ceiling. The facility reached 1 million square feet capacity within 15 years and quickly doubled the square footage. Besides craft, data center, spring net, paper document, Edco, dry protein powder drink mixes. Let's see what they got. Their warehouse is chilled to 36 degrees to store cheese, Oscar Mayer meat, Jello pudding. But it's 50. Wow. Oh my goodness. The wildest weather cities. Wow, that's really interesting. Our roof don't get any greener than that, they say. They designed it. Oh my gosh, let me see this. Underground in their barrels and stuff. It's kind of like, you see these people's YouTube channels, kind of like, you think about NORAD, how deep underground it is. Is there really something to it? Because look, you can see that this truly is FEMA's distribution site. They have 10 of them across the United States. Their warehouses and areas. 10 regions. Let's see the FEMA. And FEMA stores food, but the government doesn't. FEMA does the strategic food supplies, but the federal government doesn't. Isn't that interesting? Because we have the strategic, like oil and stuff, but not food. They don't do the food like FEMA does. Look, you can't really have very many let's look at all of these entrances all over the world, probably all over the United States, to storage facilities. Kind of looks like New York when they got the big tunnel, where they closed the tunnels off in case of major flooding and stuff. You probably wouldn't even be able to get into these areas. Look at that deep underground. They prep everywhere in every little town. Yeah, and if these tunnels truly, look at some of these, the underground tunnels of Los Angeles. That looks wild. I wonder what they're doing down there. You probably shouldn't go there, Gina, honey. Why? Why? We want to go there. Oh, it's got disrupts politics, and they ran drinking. They were drinking underground. They were doing their drinking underground, you all. Oh, wow. Why are you doing the drinking underground, you all? Oh, this is cool. We get to look at some underground tunnels. This is great. I hope it is, you all. I think this is in, but really, what really does go on down there? This is Los Angeles Hall of Records. It's an underground tunnel to Kenneth Hahn Hall of Administrations. That's wild. Soundhorn. Kenneth Hall. I've never heard of Kenneth Hahn Hall in Los Angeles. Hall of Records. Why do they got this stuff down there? Underground, you all. Isn't that interesting? Los Angeles. Deep underground. Oh, that would be apocalyptic. I would not want to be stuck underground, you all. I really wouldn't. Hello, you're sharing your pictures deep underground. Fire. They practice an air raid drill. I guess they went underground for the air raid drill because it was the former Pacific Electric subway in 1958. Do you think they'd have people going underground in the air raid? If there was an air raid, I don't think they'd let the people go underground. They'd say, "Sorry, you're gonna have to live it out where you're at." But back then, 1958, you all, what happened in 1958? I don't know. Have no idea. Surely nothing happened. How we doing over here? Um, Shannon, they were actually going without sunshine. Believe it, you just die and go crazy. They actually had people who would volunteer, and I think they went down underground. This is just a few years ago in a cave underground, but they had lighting and stuff. I don't know if it was for 2 months that they had to do this or 2 weeks. And just they were trying to check the body's, your circadian rhythm or something within your body. And because, you have night owls and you have early birds and people. And even though they weren't above surface, I think they found out that these people still kept their same habits underground. But it was so different to them when they came back above the surface. It really was. See, that looks really, really weird. And it looks like big hand hewn. I don't know if that's cement or wood. What if what if these right here came before they did whatever they did to the trees? You know how you have all these nice old trees and stuff? They probably made them back then, you all, really, if you think about it. It's not very nice. Cut the trees down. All the while, you got cities underground. They do. They got whole entire cities underground. It's like if you go on a nuclear submarine, you got, oh, what you got over here? Ancient underground storage. What's this, you all? Oh, this is an earthen structure, storage and shelter for people underground. Oh, it's just one. Okay, that's good. See, even back then, I guess they want to protect the people. But I don't know about right now. I don't know if they do it there. So what's this we got right here, you all? Oh, they don't do that, do they? Drug smuggling stuff underground so nobody can see you. That's not very nice. Now, is it smuggling tunnels? When I was a teenager, well, when I was living in the housing projects in Charlestown, Indiana, before they built the extension to more projects in this field that had cows and stuff, we used to go to these caves. They had these caves, and some of the caves are like a little bitty entrance like that, or this, and you would crawl in them, and you get down inside this great big chasm. And they were like walls, but they were natural walls like this right here. And I remember like walking through there, and like in some areas there'd like be a big hole in the floor. And the further you walked, of course it's nice and cool, but there was water. And someone told me that that cave, it was part of the Underground Railroad, is what they said. But it was the ceilings were so high, and it had a teeny tiny entrance. But when you got into the entrance, It was a great, great big massive area inside that cave, but the walls were like that. And the cave was on farmland, and next to that farmland was the city dump. And I don't know, you all. It's going down and under. Let's see the go down and under, because this is wild with all of this. This is a magazine that, yeah, look. Recent cave warehouses near Kansas City, Missouri. The times you've been down to those caves with your truck, you started digging and found out there were several of these unique underground warehouses across the country. Missouri, Pennsylvania, New York, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois. They occupy previous mining sites, and which is a great second use for what some might think useless. A great second use. Look at that, y'all. Isn't that neat? I guess they just look like underground colors. Tennessee has caves all underneath. I used to like to go into caves. When we go on vacations, we try to go visit caves, but I don't like them anymore. Really don't, because really, if you see one, you've seen them all. Look, limestone mining. Oh, look how shiny their floors are right there. With the sales office in the Empire State Building, Iron Mountain offered a safe storage of vital information from wars and disasters. General Douglas MacArthur visited the site, and the publicity from the visit was the extent of the company's marketing. East River Savings Bank was the first their account. Microfilm copies, you all, they brought microfilm copies of deposit records, duplicate signature cards, armored cars for storage in a mountain. Wow. Large corporate customers. Iron Mountain. Was that was that thing? Escape to Witch Mountain. Was that Iron Mountain? So look at that. They displayed great foresight in 1952 when he said all about the atomic storage. This business will mushroom. I guess it did, you all. Mountain facilities. Did someone mention about this escape to Witch Mountain? Was that Iron Mountain? 2002. The limestone mine was originally opened in 1902 by U.S. Steel, who abandoned the site in 1952, and then the National Underground Storage bought 80 acres underneath. Oh my gosh, 80 acres of mine, and convinced the federal government to store some of its vital documents there. Iron Mountain bought the site. Okay. Iron Mountain. Okay. United States Patent Trademark Office. Their most highly sensitive documents there. Corbis Company. Bill Gates. Oh, let's talk about Mr. Gates, honey. What you got going down underground, Mr. Gates? The Corbis Corporation, a company owned by software billionaire Bill Gates that licenses the rights to more than 100 images, 500,000 video clips, also store their entire collection of original of the Boyers, PA underground sites. So he owns this Corbis Corporation, whatever that is. What is that? Carved out of limestone? Look at this. Carved out of limestone. Kansas City is the world's largest business park. Hunt Midwest subtropolis spans 1,100 acres, offers 55 million total square feet, and it's all underground. So could you imagine 1,100 acres underground. 50 local, national, and international businesses are located there. Okay, now you have to ask yourself now. So you say we got people, we were all talking about, they buying up the farmland in the United States. This is all the above ground, buying up places above ground. Well, look what they got underground. Look what they got underground. And that's what we're not hearing about. The underground facilities. Wow. Located there. I'm sure they can buy underground acres. The entrances to the subtropolis complex seem to rise out of nowhere. And when big trucks enter the man-made cave, it looks as if they're dispersing right into the hillside. Currently, 5 million square feet occupied and 10 million square feet are improved, 3.2 acres available space each year. Wow, worlds of fun. Commemorative stamps, postal office, 40 feet apart. It's like above ground storage centers. Really, like you got to rent a storage center to store your stuff. They do it underground too. Sustainability, you all. Wow. Carthage underground. Marble quarries in Carthage, Missouri. There's the semi trucks. Joplin, Missouri. A fire broke out. Look at this. In 1991, yeah, you have to ask yourself how this happened. A fire broke out in one of Americold's underground storage facilities in Kansas City, but despite the continuous fighting efforts, there were no sprinklers. It took almost 2 months for the fire to burn itself out. And the fire, which started in an area of the cave containing grocery items like cleaning compounds, pesticides, paper goods, and cooking oil, reached temperatures as high as 2,000 degrees. The fire was confined in one section of the cave, but the smoke flowed through the whole facility, ruining 245 million pounds of food. Today, sprinkler systems come standard in all new businesses, and if a fire were to break out, the local fire officials would be able to respond within minutes because the technology in place is automatically monitoring. Oh, the Louisville Mega Cavern. Are they talking about Louisville, Kentucky? Yeah, they are. Wow. There's like billboards on the side of 65. Come to the Mega Cavern and do your zip lining or something like that. This is the first time I'm reading about it. It started out as the Louisville Crushed Stone Quarry, where miners removed a mind-boggling amount of limestone for over 42 years, acquired in 1989 by private investors who wanted to develop a portion of man-made cavern, high-security storage, a few miles from Kentucky Expo Center, Louisville International Airport. That's where UPS has its hub too. You got the Air National Guard. Oh, huge 100-acre facility, shrugging off a 260-mile per hour tornado. Wow. They looked for the ultimate. Everything's going underground. Wow. That is wild. They're going underground. They hid in the caves. They called on the mountains, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the day of his wrath. For the great day of his wrath has come, and who can stand it? That's what they said. Fall on us and hide us. Wow. Safety. That's their safety deposit boxes, you all. Just think. Wonder what 1991, I was just leaving Berlin, Germany in 1991 because the East Berlin Wall and the West Berlin Wall, well, they knocked it down and the two Germanys reunited. And my husband was a German linguist, the one in, I think, no, I don't know if that was the one in 671, but he was at Tempelhof Central Airport every morning. He'd go there and they'd have to sit there and transcribe what the East Germans were saying, which was nothing. They had to sit there with their headphones on their head. But we left in 91, and that's when the first, I think, rush to Baghdad war broke out. And then that was also the time when, look, this caught a big fire, and it went 245 million pounds of food. I don't know really what was going on in the United States itself at that time. I really don't. Then I moved back to the United States, and we moved to Henderson, Nevada. From there, it's really wild, you all. This is really, what are they doing underground, really? Wow. An downtown mall. And then you got then you have the Elon Musk cave cars that run underground. What do I got to do this? I don't like that right there. Can you get off of there? I'm trying to look at this. Oh, no. No, I'm not. I'm not going to do it. I'm not. Is there really an underground mall? Well, that looks like something futuristic, you all. It looks like something that they would go into in case of an attack. You ever see those sci-fi movies and they're filming in places like this underground? Yeah, it'd be their underground tombs. Yeah, I would not want to be stuck underground. If I'm going to go out, I want to go out really fast. Look, the tunnels are more than 2 miles long. Who did this? Let's see what they got going on. Underground malls in Dallas, Texas. Oh, let me do this. For people to shop and eat. Oh. In the late 60s. 2 miles long. Full of food courts and small shops. The workers. That looked like a sterile environment. It does. Privately owned. Wow. Isn't that interesting? And Elon Musk. What did Elon Musk do, you all? He moved his stuff to Texas. When did he move to Texas? His headquarters to Texas? Is that what he did? Yeah. And if these are privately owned, some of the tunnels underground are privately owned? Yes, Susan B. Honey. But he's probably got stuff underground. Rare blood shell, honey. I think a lot of us are very inquisitive through their office buildings. That's really interesting. It really is if you think about it. Dallas, Texas. When did Mr. Musk move there, really? They got the Chick-fil-A's, the tunnels, the tunnels. Oh my gosh. You imagine if there was like an earthquake or something. Look, they're above ground. That's 2018. Her entire life in Dallas. She heard rumors. Look at this. The 44-year-old lived her entire life in Dallas and Design District Northwest. She heard rumors of supposed underground mall while growing up. Wow, while growing up. And agreed to explore it. She said they could probably Google it. So they went. They used a map and they found online titled Dallas Pedestrian Network. You all, if you live in Texas, you go down there and you can look it out. They arrived at the building. The front door, there were no signs directing us to the tunnels, you all. This is kind of wow. When they arrived at the beginning, yet at the front door, there were no signs directing us to the tunnels. We walked inside, and up ahead we saw some escalators going down. Zan and I looked at each other. I think this is it, you all. So let's look at this. So if you're there, you might want to go take a trip and look at it. So they didn't know. Never come up for air. The short answer is there are tunnels, and there's a reason why you probably don't know about them. Downtown network of underground passages and sky bridges were designed in the late 60s by international city planner Vincent Ponte. As downtown Dallas, Texas grew, his idea was to create separate levels, one for auto traffic, one for pedestrians, by dividing the two, one for the high echelons of society. The underground would be a place for people to shop and eat. But you didn't tell everybody about it. You didn't. You didn't tell everybody about it. It was kept under the hushes. Oh my gosh. And in the comforts of air conditioning and away from the sweltering heat and congested streets, the entrances would be accessed via office buildings. Sections were constructed in different phases, and when finished, there were more than 2 miles designated for pedestrians linked together with plans of continued expansion. In 87, Dallas Morning wrote, by the year 2000, Ponte envisioned the pedestrian network would be twice as long when it would be plugged into the Dallas area rapid transit system. And a worker could arrive downtown, walk to the office, go to lunch, shop, attend a Mavericks game, have a late supper, and depart for home and never come up from air. Oh my gosh. No trees, no nothing. I'm sure they got some artificial trees. Many felt the tunnels had robbed downtown of its vibrancy. One urban researcher wrote in his 88 book, City, Rediscovering the Center, wrote that Dallas was the city that had done the most to kill off its urban street life. The DART link was never implemented, and over time the tunnel system became a disconnected network. There is virtually no signage, and the majority of it is privately owned, and that's why many portions have been sealed off. In 2004, Laura Miller said she once fantasized about bringing in a dump truck, filling the tunnel entrances up with concrete, and she joked that the city should flood it with water and use it for scuba diving. But all the years later, the tunnel still exists. What did she know, you all, to joke about something like that? What did she know to make a comment like that? No, because listen. Out of the overflow of the mouth, the heart speaks. It does. The mayor in 2004, Laura Miller, said she once fantasized about bringing in a dump truck and filling the tunnel entrances up with concrete. Then the city manager joked, should flood it with water and use it for scuba diving. What did they know? You had to know something to... Aw, it's all good. I'm so happy for you. I am. Gina Honey's really happy that I woke up at 3 in the morning and just laid here and thought, well, I better make some good use of my time. Kind of creepy, you all. Look at this. Upon taking the escalator, we're underground, you all. We're underground in Dallas, Texas. It's privately owned and lots of entrances are sealed off now. They were greeted with a convenience store and a shoe stand store. There was soft lighting and marble floors, you all. A surprising amount of foot traffic headed down the hallway. It was just after 12:15, and we followed the flow. Since the tunnels are accessed through office buildings, their main hours of operations are 10 to 3 p.m., but it's open until 6 p.m., and they are closed on the weekends. Soon we arrived at an open area where Mexican, sushi, Mediterranean restaurants lined the walls, and seating options were planted in the middle. Basically, it's like a mall food court. They were less than thrilled. The tables were packed full of people who worked in the building. They scanned the restaurants and they couldn't find a Chick-fil-A, you all. Beyond the food court, there was another hallway leading to a Thanksgiving square. And we took the route, and the decor changed quickly with fluorescent lighting, wider walkway, and not only did it feel like we were in an airport terminal, it looked abandoned. Our voices echoed in the emptiness. Our footsteps were the only sound, and we arrived at an open space with red brick walls, then yellow brick walls, where almost every shop was vacant except for a tiny cafe in the corner. It must be a little creepy down here at night. It gets kind of creepy down here during the day, she said. We would have kept going, but there was a sign overhead saying, it was pointing to 1600 Pacific, but the entrance was boarded up. Phase it out. The city made efforts to wean Dallas off the tunnels, and in 2011, Dallas, Texas, downtown, created a task force hoping to develop a plan to phase out the underground retail and restaurant. The conclusion was that while the tunnels are not desirable for street life, they do exist and they serve a valid purpose for property owners and office tenants. And since they're privately owned, any attempt to regulate would infringe on our property rights. According to the report, the best way to phase out the tunnels would be to increase the dining and shopping options in downtown Dallas. Noah Jepson, the man who made Dallas Pedestrian Network map, was part of the task force. The graphic designer made the map because when he tried to navigate the tunnels himself, he felt that he was in a lost world. He now lives in San Francisco and he works in architecture. When he first saw the tunnels, he wasn't sure what to expect. He thinks that his thought that it's more mysterious than it is. When people hear about tunnels, they think the abandoned cave structures are ruins. But when they get down there, it's like a food court and a mall. So they tried another entrance on Elm Street, you all. Nightmare on Elm Street. It was quiet and mostly unoccupied, and you don't see a lot of people walking around up here for food. So we see more people eating underground than above ground. And entrance to this tunnel section was in the Renaissance Tower on Elm Street. Once again, there was no signage explaining what was below our feet. And we opened the doors and descended to the underground. It was packed. This one had a helpful screen advertising food and retail. There was a message shop, a massage shop, a credit union, a Potbelly, Dickies, and Chick-fil-A. And this, look at the people. It was designed differently, with closed shops and more dead ends. Is this sustained cities? Is this the sustained living? In less than an hour, we had both answered our question. Yes, there was an underground mall, and yes, there was a hidden Chick-fil-A. Over chicken sandwiches and waffle fries, I asked if she would ever return. I've been here, she said. I don't need to come back. As for myself, now I know where to find a secret Chick-fil-A. I probably will. I want you all to know this. If you are in that area, they got the underground tunnels, and they're privately owned with marble floors. Just think about it. Who paid for this? And were there already tunnels under there? And how did they do this construction without the people above ground knowing anything about it? And all those loud booms and stuff at night. All of that stuff at night, you all. They told the one building, on Elm Street, they're the Dallas tunnels. The Dallas tunnels. It's the Dallas Pedestrian Network map. Right here. Okay, you all, we're going to take a screenshot. We're going to do right here, Dallas Pedestrian Network map. These are where all the tunnels are underground. It's where the reptilians live, and that's when the aliens and the former mayor, she said she often fantasized. Her name is Laura. She often fantasized about taking a cement truck or a dump truck and sealing off the entrances to the tunnels. And I think someone underneath her said they would like to flood the tunnels, just flood them underground. Underground. This is it, you all. Let's make it like that. Just keep it like that. That way. Let's zoom it up. It's the public access points right here. Here's your little legend. 2019. They got Bank of America. I know it's kind of blurry. That's wild. Underneath your feet, if you're in the Dallas area. Did someone say that's where Elon Musk is in there? So are all those rumors about things happening underground, are they true? Even though they sound so bizarre, is there truth to them? It's they didn't say where they were at when they took that one. Let's see. They said the DART link was DART. We've heard that in the news. We've heard about DART, the DART program. Maybe that's the military's DART thing. Is this part of, I did a video on this YouTube channel, and I remember using that word DART in it. I said, is this part of the DART thing? I know it's I know it's that. Um, but no, this had something to do with UFOs and things in the sky. NASA's DART mission. That's what it was. NASA's DART mission. Let me do this. DART mission. NASA's DART mission. See, I knew I remembered what I was talking about. NASA confirms the DART mission impact changed the asteroids, whatever. Okay, that's where that came from my mind right there. Okay, so we got NASA's DART, and we also got a DART link. Let's just do this, you all, since isn't there a launch facility, NASA's DART, NASA DART, NASA, let's see NASA, let's see if I type in something about NASA underground, NASA underground, Texas. How underground sensors will help NASA sponsors. Underground sensors in Texas will help NASA. Oh, NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Texas. Is that near? Okay, you all. So okay, look. So this stuff is privately owned. Underground, we got private areas underground in Texas, in Dallas. We also just happen to have this. Mm-hmm. That's kind of interesting. It really is. That's really interesting. Yeah. Gina, are you saying somehow NASA probably got some underground stuff? Yeah, they probably do. They really probably do. Huh. Okay, because they're underground. And a lot of this stuff is privately owned, is what it is. That's what they said. Excuse me, privately owned underground, and they sealed it off. They sealed it off. If I don't know where we saw, I think we saw in two places in this article that it said it was privately owned, certain areas, and they towed the entrances. Oh, it's at the end, is what it was. One more try, and they went to the Elm Street. Uneventful. Where did we see that they said that it was their food? I already not their food. Oh, here we go. The conclusion. This is the conclusion. This is in Dallas, Texas, I guess. The conclusion is that the tunnels are not desirable for street life, and they do exist, and they serve a valid purpose for property owners and office tenants. And since they are privately owned, any attempt to regulate would infringe on property rights. They can do anything they want underneath there, underground in those tunnels. That a vast array. Look how it goes. See, this looks like it would be. Doesn't this look like it would be something sci-fi like that, you all? If you're just tuning into this video, yes, we started off with underground food tunnels, and we have ended up over here. We started in Missouri. We went to California, and then we ended up here in Dallas, Texas. with privately owned marble floors in some of these facilities, marble. And they cannot be regulated. Privately owned. And that's how we found it, you all, right there. Is there an underground mall? This woman lived there she was 44 years old, and she heard rumors about something underground. And she did. She heard something about underground. Look at all of those things popping up. That's okay. And NASA has their Jet Propulsion Laboratory. That's Frisco. So it's fine. Underground networks in Texas. And Elon's there now. Okay, Elon's there in Texas with his whatever he's doing there. So yeah, that's what we were talking about. Underground entrances, and this is how we found it. Just like that, you all. Look, the Dallas underground tunnels. Just look at that. Looks like a very sterile environment. It does. Quite sterile. Something futuristic. You can stay down there all day long, and you don't even have to come up from air. That's what they said. You don't have to come up for air. So let me click on there again. Is there really an underground mall? Yes, there is. And there's underground facilities. It's like the move to go underground is what it is. Oh, we're at the 50-minute mark again, you all. Gina, honey, what you doing? I don't know what I'm doing. I guess I've already reached my limit on this. I don't do that. I've reached my limit, you all. Let me look what time it is. I might as well get up. It's 5 o'clock, so I guess I'm gonna hop off here. I'm gonna go downstairs and probably need a fire built in the stove. Maybe I can make enough noise and see if my husband will make the fire, because he likes to make the fire in the stove. He said, I don't know how. And I say, well, you're probably right. I can't make a fire as good as you can. Because when he makes a fire, he takes, he'll scoop out all the ashes, and he'll pack that stove full of wood, and he gets a roaring fire going, and I can just sit there and watch. And I don't have to worry about shoveling out the ashes and carrying them out and putting them in the trash can, you all. Oh, isn't it nice to do that, you all? We know how to do it. That's exactly right. We can tell them if they want to tell us they make a better fire than us. Absolutely, you make a better fire than us. You go ahead and make it. It's wonderful, you all. That's right. Oh, my goodness gracious, you all. That's what I'm going to do. Um, I'll go down there and I'll get Rosie wound up because she can't wait till I come down there. And, and he'll hear Rosie running around, and he'll get up and he'll make that fire. Because I told him it. I said, when I get up, there's not going to be a fire made, and I'm just going to turn on the furnace and I'll warm the house up like that. He goes, no, you're not. I said, yeah, I will. So yeah, I'll make sure he gets up. So with that being said, you all, this is really, I did not know about the Dallas network. I did not. And it's privately earned. And so they have property rights underground. Yeah. It's something, yeah, there's probably some, these rumors we're hearing, there's probably some truth. And you had the mayor. The mayor once joked, if you're just tuning in, the mayor of this town once joked backing a cement truck up to the entrances of the tunnel and sealing them up with cement. And this other guy, in the same article that we read, he wanted to flood the tunnels, is what he wanted to do. So with that being said, thank you all for tuning in on here this early morning. And for those who rarely ever get a chance to catch Gina Honey live, I'm so happy you got to catch me live. It's good to be spontaneous. It is. It is. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello from my heart.